The war in Ukraine is a major conflict in Eastern Europe. It began in 2014. Russia invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula. Fighting has continued ever since. The conflict has caused a major humanitarian crisis. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes. The war has devastated many cities in Ukraine. The war has also had a significant impact on the global economy. Russia is a major energy producer. The conflict has led to higher energy prices around the world. The war has also raised tensions between Russia and the West. The United States and its allies have imposed sanctions on Russia. They have also provided military aid to Ukraine. The outcome of the war is still uncertain. However, the conflict has already had a profound impact on the region and the world. The fighting in Ukraine is ongoing and brutal. Both sides are using heavy weaponry. There have been many casualties on both sides. Russia has made some gains in recent months. However, Ukraine is still putting up a strong fight. Ukrainian forces continue to resist the Russian invasion. The fighting is concentrated in the eastern and southern parts of Ukraine. Russia is trying to capture the Donbas region. This region is in eastern Ukraine. Russia is also trying to create a land bridge between Russia and Crimea. Ukraine is trying to hold on to its territory. It is also trying to inflict as many casualties as possible on the Russian forces. The outcome of the battle for Donbas is still uncertain. However, it is likely to be a long and bloody fight. Ukraine is actively seeking a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called for peace talks with Russia. He has also proposed a number of concessions. Zelensky has been a vocal advocate for peace. For example, Zelensky has said that Ukraine is willing to remain neutral. This means that Ukraine would not join NATO. However, Russia has so far rejected Zelensky's peace proposals. Russia continues to demand that Ukraine recognize the annexation of Crimea. Russia also demands that Ukraine recognize the independence of the Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics. These are two separatist regions in eastern Ukraine. The United States has been a staunch supporter of Ukraine since the beginning of the conflict. The U.S. has provided Ukraine with billions of dollars in military aid. The U.S. has also imposed sanctions on Russia. The United States has provided billions of dollars in military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. However, the U.S. has ruled out sending troops to fight in Ukraine. The U.S. does not want to get directly involved in a war with Russia. The U.S. is also providing humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Millions of people have been displaced by the fighting. The U.S. is working with international organizations to provide food, water, and shelter to those in need. Section 5. The human cost of war. The war in Ukraine has had a devastating impact on the civilian population. Thousands of civilians have been killed. Many more have been injured. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes. The war has also had a severe impact on the Ukrainian economy. Many businesses have been destroyed. Unemployment is high. The war has also led to a sharp increase in poverty. The humanitarian situation in Ukraine is dire. International organizations are struggling to meet the needs of the displaced population. The war in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved. Section 6. Europe stands with Ukraine. The European Union has also been a strong supporter of Ukraine. The EU has imposed sanctions on Russia. It has also provided financial aid to Ukraine. The EU is also working to reduce its dependence on Russian energy. Russia is a major supplier of oil and gas to Europe. The EU is looking for alternative sources of energy. The EU is also providing military aid to Ukraine. However, the EU has ruled out sending troops to fight in Ukraine. The EU does not want to get directly involved in a war with Russia. Section 7. A long and bloody conflict. The war in Ukraine is a continuation of a long-running conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The two countries have been intertwined for centuries. However, they have also had a history of conflict. In 1922, Ukraine became part of the Soviet Union. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine became an independent country. However, Russia never fully accepted Ukraine's independence. In 2014, Russia invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula. Russia also supported separatists in eastern Ukraine. Section 8. The future of Ukraine. The future of Ukraine is uncertain. The outcome of the war is still unknown. However, the conflict has already had a profound impact on Ukraine. The war has devastated the Ukrainian economy. It has also displaced millions of people. The war has also deepened divisions within Ukrainian society. The war has also damaged Ukraine's relations with Russia. It is unclear how long it will take for Ukraine to recover from the war. It is also unclear what the long-term consequences of the war will be. Section 9. A plea for peace. The war in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved. It is a senseless conflict that has already claimed the lives of thousands of people. The war has also caused immense suffering and destruction. It is imperative that the international community work together to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. The first step is to establish a ceasefire. This will allow for humanitarian aid to reach those in need. It will also create a more conducive environment for peace talks. The international community must also hold Russia accountable for its actions.